episode 43 of the Mexican GP of the
Oh shit!
Lockup
Sorry,
Podcast.
sorry. Just woke
Uh,
up, bro.
wow, why were you asleep?
Cause the Mexican GP put me to sleep, bro. That shit was boring as hell.
Uh, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I hate to bro. I was gonna be hella hype at the intro of this, but low key, it might have been Max Verstappen's easiest race all year. It was a dude. It was just a snooze fest. There was nothing like. Yes, there was exciting moments, but the whole race, bro, you could have watched like the first 2 laps, hit a power snooze, and wake up for like the last 10.
So honestly, this was the best race for me to go out in public to watch at a restaurant slash bar because, yeah, I was able to drink peacefully and I just glance up. I'm like, oh yeah, nothing changed. Eh.
You actually get to socialize and have a good time. Unlike me, I literally sat in bed. No, I sat at my desk and just watched it. I
Oh,
just sat
dude.
there in Discord and just watched it. And the whole time I was like, I really want to get like into this race right now, but there's nothing to talk about. Like Max was in free air like the whole time. Didn't even have to fight or defend anything.
Ooh, there we go. We got
Oh
some good
man,
light
let there
going in
be
here.
light. Look at that melon.
Shiny. I'm glowing. I should be bald. No, but yeah, the race itself was pretty boring. The start of the race was super exciting though. Like action packed.
The start was sick. I
Yeah, that had
100%
me
agree the start was sick.
like on the edge of my seat, watching the start of that race. And then after that it was kind of like fell off. Then there was some excitement, and then fall off again. That was one where you could get the mid race snooze for sure. Wake up, watch the end, you're good.
Yeah, no, that race was like it was exactly that. It's just F1 can't be boring, but man, that race really put that to the test with how boring it could actually get because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think so where I went to watch it at though, here this was my only complaint there was we went to this beer hall, get some beers going, some German food or whatever, and we're watching it, and then as soon as the race finishes, Max finishes, and then Lewis isn't that far behind him, and then as soon as the race is over, switch the channel up right away. I'm like, damn, all right, I
Oh
want to see
yeah,
I want to
no,
see how the
immediately.
rest of the grid finished. They're like
Immediately. How did
Seahawks,
you find
Seahawks.
that bar? Do they advertise like, "Hey, we watch F1 on Sundays"?
So I got into this looked up this Facebook group. It's like a Seattle F1 group, and they had on their page that they watched the USGP there. And I was like,
Oh, nice.
I didn't see them post anything about the Mexico one, so I called the place. I was like, are you guys gonna show it? Because y'all showed they're like, yeah, we're gonna put it on, and then right after it's over, we're gonna switch over to the Seahawks game. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll
That's
be there.
fair. Like I
I'll
can
be
I
there.
can deal with that.
Yeah.
That's that's perfect. No, I mean, well, shit. Let's just get right into it. Yeah, we covered as a snooze fest. I mean, I guess right off rip, I can say for spoiler alert. Obviously, you've seen it, but Max and Lewis 1 and 2. That's nice. That's nice to see.
Dude, yeah, that was exciting. And my friend pointed this out to me. It was kind of like last year, actually, Mexico GP last year, because it was Max and Lewis 1-2, and then Checo third, and Checo couldn't catch up to Lewis to get second place. So it was like
Yeah,
almost
no,
exact mirror like replica of last year, which is weird to
no,
see. But
literally, it's actually fucking kick ass to see because Ham- Hamilton needs like I know there's only 2 races left. I know we only have Brazil and Abu Dhabi left, but like I want to see hopefully we can go this year with seeing a Hamilton win because after the era he had to now go a full year without even sniffing first place. Well, no, he sniffs first place, but like he oh man, I want
the
him to win
last two
and
weekends he's
preferably
been
I want it
sniffing
to
it.
be Brazil.
Yeah, dude, him to win in Brazil, that would be perfect for this year. And like I said, he hasn't gone a season ever in his whole F1 career where he didn't get a win. So like
That's what I'm
right now
saying.
it's looking scary and kind of weird. Like I don't know what's going on there, but
And it's weird because like that Mercedes was supposed to be bad all year, but it's actually a good car.
yeah, I mean, it started out as a not good car, but then they kept the development. I was reading a story about this, and like they were like, oh, we're gonna give it till July and see what we can do, and then July came around. They're like, let's just keep, they started seeing the progress, and I think they're claiming a lot of their victory came from that technical directive, because that one
Yeah.
really, that's when I think Red Bull pulled away from Ferrari, because
Oh yeah,
I think Ferrari, they were the
like
ones. Okay,
noticeably.
we all know Ferrari. They love to finesse the rules as much as they can. So they were definitely cheating a little bit with that gray area. Red Bull, everyone thought Red Bull was, but it turns out that they weren't because they didn't really
Well,
lose
I
much time
mean,
at all.
so far with Ferrari, if they get called out on a gray area, what's instead of getting in trouble, they're like, "Oh, thank you for helping us and finding a loophole in the rules. Here's a slap on the wrist. You actually kind of helped us. So now we're going to change the rules to accommodate that, but you're not going to get in trouble for it."
Yeah.
That's what happens to Ferrari. Red Bull goes over budget cap by $1 million or so and on catering, and then
On
and they
catering,
got
shut the fuck up.
and they get what, like a isn't it like a 10% like they get time taken away
So,
from the wind
okay,
tunnels,
so
and then it's
I
like a
think,
cap or something?
yeah, I think they actually went over even less than that because it was like a 1 point something percent overspend. It was like 1 million something. Uh,
Oh my god.
and then they did adjust it for like their tax credits or whatever, and they really only overspent by like less than half a million. And it was like 0.6%, like not even one whole percent that they spent over the budget cap. And so they got,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
they got a big fine. I don't know how much the fine was, I forgot. And then yeah, like a 10% reduction in their wind tunnel time. So I mean, I think it's a fair punishment in my opinion.
No, I think it's totally fair. I mean, hey man, you got caught. Like no, I do not hate Red Bull about trying to find or bend rules this way. Fucking Ferrari's done it, Red Bull's done it. Uh Racing Point did it when they started copying the pink Mercedes.
Yeah.
Like they're riding those lines very closely, and I'm not gonna shit on a team for that. Like that's like it. They're trying to win, and they're trying to take what they already see succeed in front of them and put it on their car. So I can't hate on
And I think the other notable
that.
thing about Red Bull is like the FIA said that they found them like not at all trying to hide anything from them, and they weren't purposely trying to overspend. They just,
Yeah, no, they
they
opened the book. They're
miscalculated
like,
it.
here you go.
They
Yeah.
screwed up, dude. They thought they had more money than they did. Now, if it keeps going forward like that, I'm sure the penalties will get worse. But like,
Oh
I
yeah.
think for spending like $500,000 more, uh, the penalties that they're getting are great. But I guess the wind tunnel stuff, I don't know if that's really a big penalty to them because they were one of the teams that had the least amount of time in the wind tunnel, so they don't. But I guess it also has to do with their CFD analysis time that gets cut down too. So I don't know. I don't know.
I
But
mean, yeah, but like I said, like I'm all for looking at these gray areas. I'm all for looking at that. But I don't know, man. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Of course, people with the whole competitive integrity argument, people are just going to lose their minds because, oh, here's another reason we can illegitimize one of Max Verstappen's championships. Here's another
yeah.
like it's like at what point are you going to be like, okay, it's they win fair and square or whatever, even if it is a menial issue like this, and I want to know. I know someone. I mean, maybe it's Mercedes, maybe, but it's got to be either Ferrari or someone else that brought that to the attention of the FIA.
Well,
That
for
didn't just that was so long with nothing said about it.
yeah, I mean, I think Mercedes probably was wondering how they were able to pull that off and build a car like this, and Ferrari's been complaining all year that they got to be going over the
I mean,
budget cap.
yeah.
Like, how are they doing it?
The
So
moment Ferrari started shooting himself in the foot with
they're,
strategy,
they're
they've been pointing the blame at somebody else.
yeah, yeah, so true.
Dude.
But yeah, enough of that Red Bull overspend stuff. Back to Mercedes because I think Mercedes is back. It's safe to say that now. Really, the only thing that screwed them up was they didn't have good tire data, and they went with the wrong
Yeah,
tire
no.
strats.
No, I mean, we had to hear freaking George's crybaby like complain about it all race, and you heard Lewis complain about it just as much as George did. So I couldn't give George a hard time because Lewis was doing the same thing. The
Yeah,
whole race, bro, they were radioing, yeah, don't like these tires, mate. Don't
these
like,
tires suck.
not happy with the tires, mate.
They're
Like
like,
those
don't
are
worry,
actual quotes.
we're waiting for the Red Bull tires to degrade, and then we'll be on top. Didn't happen.
I mean, it was close if they had 50 more laps to catch up.
If they have
Like
50 more.
like
No,
it's
so I think the track was like 10 degrees cooler from Friday from the test
oh
from
yeah,
practice one.
you gotta roll with the soft. I saw it was what? It was softs, medium softs for the fastest teams out there basically.
Mm.
I think it was I know ah
Mercedes
who
did
made the
medium
mediums.
hards, right? They did a one stopper.
Yeah. They did a
Yeah.
one stopper, which is fine. That's fine. Like if I were to roll the dice on a one stop, I honestly probably would have picked the same strategy. So
Yeah,
I
same.
hear you, but I mean, we saw. I think the trick was you had to make the mediums last as long as possible on your first stint. The second stint you could make up the time, but we saw Danny Rick make, and I think it was Danny Rick, Magnuson, and someone else that made the mediums last almost 35 laps. And then they came in
Jeez.
for a stop, got on the softs, and then you saw I think it was medium soft softs for Danny Rick because you saw him at the end of the race, dude. It put anybody in front of him. He was overtaking anybody. The dude, that was so hard.
Yeah.
He's coming up to pass. He just
He said,
goes
yeah,
and just goes for the overtake. That was by far the coolest shit I've ever seen someone do in an F1
dude,
car.
I want to say Daniel Ricciardo's back.
I mean, too little, too late, eh?
Too little,
Like
too late.
two races, like you literally did it at the third to last race of the season.
Oh.
It's a little depressing,
I'm just glad he
and
finished at Orlando. All right, I said it.
I agree. I
I
agree,
said it.
and with the zero punishment of the 10-second time penalty because he's just that fast.
Yeah, and I just want to say, in my opinion, I don't think you should have got the penalty.
Okay, you mentioned this before we started. I I do agree with why he got the penalty, but I do need to hear what's the clear factor of that wasn't his fault.
I mean, like, look, it's a bold move, right? But you gotta leave the space, dude. You gotta leave the
You
space.
must always leave the
They were
space.
basically going wheel to wheel through that little section, and Yuki just was like, "Nope, I'm taking the
Uh,
line." I
I
mean, he
okay,
dive
I hear
bombed
you.
him. He dive bombed him for sure, but
You're right.
that's still a move.
And
Like,
I try, bro. Danny Rick's my number one guy. That's my favorite guy. That is F1 for me. So I'm okay with saying he was totally in fault and just straight up like, oh bro, it ended Sonoda's Grand Prix just so slowly, so slow, and he literally raced the most boring race the whole track just to get fucking DNF'd at like the last 10 laps of the track and limped the car. He limped the car back to the pit stop. They tried to fix it, and they were like, "Ah, we the pit stop exceeded 45 seconds. We give up." We gave up,
oh man,
dude. It was painful to watch, but it was equally as sick to watch him like what go for another three overtakes and get the 10-second cushion back. I
yeah,
thought that was pretty kick ass.
driver of the day.
He was driver of the day, and you know who? You know what driver wasn't driver of the day?
Who?
Fernando Alonso with that blown ass engine.
Oh, dude, don't even. You see what he said?
Bro,
He said we had.
how many engines has this been for Alpine?
I don't know, bro. I mean, not Alpine's Alonso. He said it himself. Like, why are all the problems only with my car? You know, what's
What
going
is
on
it?
here?
Wait, what do you say? What do you say?
He
What
said,
happened with Honda is that both cars stopped. This year, it's only number car 14.
"Yep." So there's something up there, bro. They're sabotaging him.
Oh, they're sabotaging him because he sabotaged them first.
Yeah, Altmar's trying to get
It's
back
the
at
get
him, bro.
back. It's the get. We're watching Otmar going, take that, Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso. I'm sure they probably just
I
gave
hate
Ocon the
Otmar,
better
bro.
stuff, dude. Like I think it's that he like they're like, ah, he's the younger guy. We'll
I
give him the
mean, they're
better stuff.
Renault powered. They're the only one on the grid that's Renault powered still.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maybe Fernando's right. Maybe we're gonna see a YouTube video on the 2022 season from his POV, like later. Like, I just don't understand. I mean, he could be right. I mean, Yuki Tsunoda bowled over rookie last year. Uh, said that the cards were different at AlphaTauri. He was convinced he was getting sabotaged, and he was a freaking
Nikita
rookie.
Mazepin, he was getting sabotaged by Haas.
Look, yeah, for sure. And water's not wet.
Oh
Like
man.
it's, dude. Oh, don't even get me started about Nikita, bro. I'll rant for another 45 minutes. But no, I mean, like I had here in the notes, but yeah, top tier track, just super boring race.
Yeah,
Like
so
I
I'm trying
love
to
the
think,
track.
is it that the track's good, or is it that the fan base that goes to the track is so good?
Now you're saying the track's not good?
I don't know, man. It
You're
looks cool.
undecided. Listen, that
I'm
was a boring
undecided.
race. It was
That
a
race
boring
really
race.
put me off the track, honestly.
Okay, imagine that race where there was no action, no nothing, no drama at the USGP.
Wouldn't happen. That's the thing.
Wouldn't have. It's impossible. Turn. Have
When
you
has
seen
the
Turn One?
USGP not had a good race?
No, actually, that's actually kind of facts. I
Like
can, dude. That you know what? That's true. When has the USGP ever had like a bad race?
just 10 years of bangers, bro. A decade of just straight
That's
fire
actually pretty
races.
kick ass. But I mean, like I said, super boring race. I mean, Max had I think a 40-second cushion in between the closest person behind him, and and even then, second and third had an even bigger gap from the people behind them. And
Yeah,
I think
dude.
Max was almost lapped Latifi twice.
Oh, nice. Impressive.
Yeah.
Oh man. Dude, so I actually saw some stuff about Ferrari also. They had a horrible weekend, as we've seen. And
Oh
now
well, yeah,
Leclerc
I'm
is
not
down five
surprised.
points to Checo in the standings. Oh, also,
Oh, he is.
yeah, Mercedes might beat Ferrari in the drivers stand in the constructors
No way.
standings. Dude, I mean, they're catching up to them. What is it right now? You have the numbers.
Okay, so which on an individual level,
Uh-huh.
we have we have Leclerc at 275,
Mhm.
Russell at 231, Hamilton at 216, and Sainz at 212. So
Mhm.
they're literally Ferrari is split right down the middle.
Mhm.
Ferrari is split right down the middle. Leclerc is on top, Sainz is on the bottom. It's a Ferrari sandwich. Um,
A Mercedes
but that's the
sandwich.
thing. They yeah, it's a Mercedes sandwich. You're right.
Ferrari
Um,
buns.
for Ferrari is buns, so it makes sense.
Oh fuck.
But oh, okay, Mercedes is exactly 40 points behind them. Exactly. So they have two races
Yeah.
to get 40 something points.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I don't uh, they can do it, but they both have to outplace Ferrari.
Yeah, agreed.
And
You
at
know,
least we need to see a Ferrari DNF, at least one of them
what did
this
they
next
say
week.
last year? When when Max was running off with it, and they're like, "Yeah, all it just takes is a DNF," and then Max got crashed out of the race. I'm
Yeah,
just
then
saying,
entered the
you
last
got George
race.
the Missile Russell on your team. You don't know what might happen to Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, dude. George, George the missile. Screw Mr. Saturday. Screw Mr. Sunday.
He's a missile.
He George Cruise Missile Russell.
He's
Like,
yeah.
dude, dude. I need him to line up P3 or P2 every
Hey,
weekend.
on the new Modern Warfare 2, they got that the F1 circuit track. When you call in your cruise missile, it's George Russell comes off the track and just
The
crashes it.
F1 car zooming in the background on that track is actually George. Just
Yeah, and
like,
he just jumps into the map and blows you up, takes you
jeez,
out.
bro. I need him for the last two races of this year. I need him to start like top five. I need him to start top five.
So, yeah. Anyways, we got really sidetracked here, but Ferrari, they had some issues this weekend. I've read that they had to tune down the engine because they were up at altitude, so they had to run a detuned engine.
I
Uh,
mean, I know every team somewhere somehow they had to account for engine overheating. I think everybody had to
mhm.
account for that. But no, you're right. I think it affected Ferrari pretty bad,
But
and I didn't
also,
know they had to detune the engine.
yeah, they had to detune, lower oxygen up there, so they weren't sucking enough wind in there, I guess. I
Oh
don't know.
man.
But uh that was one of the things. And then to top it off, they had a horrible setup, is what they've said. They just had the total wrong setup, which you could see because they were slow as hell. But like, yeah, they said
Proofs there.
they only had the FP1 session really to get data, and then the second session was another Pirelli tire testing one, so they weren't really able to pull any data from that because they weren't
Oh,
allowed
that's
to do.
lame.
Yeah, and then I mean, all the teams were in the same boat,
Yeah, no.
Red Bull didn't screw it up, but nah, they had a bad weekend. They didn't have the right set up. They didn't have a good engine tune. They had a detune, so that's why you
Well,
saw no pace from them whatsoever.
checks all the boxes for a Ferrari weekend. Like,
And just when I thought they were being sneaky good and doing all right, they just go and do this.
you're like late Ferrari push, late
No,
Ferrari push to keep P2.
no, they're going. I hope they keep P2. I hope they do.
I mean, yeah. To be honest, they do deserve P2, and well, they
They don't deserve anything. They have to earn what they get.
that's true. They earn P2 if they get it.
Yeah,
But I mean, hey, we still got 2 races left. We got
yeah,
Brazil, we got Abu Dhabi left. I mean, just to wrap up this race, I mean, the last top 10 finishers, we had Bottas in 10th, Lando in ninth, Ocon in eighth. His top at the very top of his chart.
yep,
At the
yep.
very top of his chart, 8 to 12. He's at the
Peak
top.
Ocon performance this weekend.
Peak Ocon, baby. Absolute mountaintop peak Ocon. Ocon at eighth. Ricardo P7. Couldn't catch Ricardo. That's why Ocon's mid.
And there's a 10
Um,
second penalty. Just throw that one in there.
yeah, just to throw that in there, he wasn't even within 10 seconds. I think the final one was like 11 or 12. Um, Leclerc P6, Sainz
Ouch.
P5, and this is where Mercedes is closing the gap. Is Russell P4, uh, Perez P3,
Hmm.
Hamilton P2, Verstappen P1 by a long shot. But like that's what we're looking for at the end of the race. And Verstappen, of course, he inks the record of most points ever scored in a single season. Which I
And
know the stipulation there is more races, so I know. But
yeah,
I mean, 416 points with 2 races still to go is pretty ridiculous.
and he has the most wins out of any driver at Mexico now.
Yeah, which I think what the last
He's got 4
he's
wins, I
won
think.
two. Yeah, he's got 4 wins total. It was like it's. I think it's like him, Hamilton, him, him, and then he's like he's won the last 4 out of 5 trips or something.
Yeah, so I know if Hamilton was to have won this weekend, he would have been tied with Max. So Hamilton, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Hamilton only has 2 wins, I think, or something like that at this
yeah, yeah,
track.
yeah. It's like 4-2 or something like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no, that's and they've both been pole like every year for those years too. Like
nice.
that. I mean, that's if any track is his own besides Sergio Perez, Mexico, it's Max Verstappen's track.
Max
But
owns Mexico. Come on, let's be
yeah,
honest.
Max owns Mexico. He didn't do zero. He did zero media too because
Yeah,
everyone was
he's done
talking
with
shit.
that. Yep, yep.
He ain't with that anymore, dog. And
Yeah.
Christian Horner had to pull rank and say no. Interviews will resume next week, just like normal. And
Uh,
we'll rein in Max, but I think Max is gonna be like, car was good. We raced hard.
Max is gonna come out there on that Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
He's gonna come out
I'm just here so I
2018
don't get
Max, and he's
fined.
gonna go. He's gonna go push Ocon. he's gonna.
Oh man. But yeah, Mexico GP again. I think we spent more of the time just joking around than paying attention to what happened in the race.
I
Cause
mean, there was nothing to do. We covered
yeah,
the start. We covered the end. Nothing happened in the middle.
yeah, short race. Looking forward to Brazil. Hopefully, we can see
Yes,
Lewis get that win.
I
I'm
want
pulling for
Lewis to
that
win in
now.
Brazil.
You put that in. The only thing I'm afraid of is that they think they're a lot closer to the top than they really are because it took Ferrari having the engine not tuned proper to its full power, and then two, they had
Yeah,
a total botch to the setup. So like, I think that Ferrari still might be ahead of them, but we'll see.
I think Ferrari has P2 secured only because what? Only the first top. Not only do you have to outplace Ferrari, but even to make up the already 40-point deficit to Ferrari, Mercedes has to score at least 40 points. That's at the
Mhm.
very least.
Yeah.
And to score 40 points in two races, you've got to be finishing what, top 3?
Yeah.
Like so it literally would need to be like maybe a Mercedes 1-2 or Mercedes second, third. Like it would have to be something like that or something in fourth with the Ferraris either DNFing, not getting anything, or something like, maybe 2 or 3 positions below them. But
Yeah.
both of them have to be below them. But even then, they're both of those are just going to go up to some degree. And like I said, even just getting the 40 points, if they both DNF, if Ferrari stopped racing now and Mercedes had to get 40, they need to be top 3 each time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot to ask for, especially against those Red Bulls. Oh,
Now,
one more thing.
oh my God.
Where is McLaren now in constructors? Did they
McLaren,
overtake Alpine?
no, in fact, they didn't.
Oh,
They're less than 10 points away. It's Alpine sitting at 153, McLaren sitting at 146. So we're going straight into the end of the year with the battle of P4.
where else do we see battles on the constructors?
Well, I would say, well, actually, no. So AlphaTauri and Haas are competing for first loser, um, or last loser, or basically
No,
P9.
Williams is the last loser.
Yeah, Williams is the last loser.
Oh
My
man,
bad,
Austin.
Albon.
Oh geez, they're
But
close.
Albon and DeFries,
I
not even
guess Aston
Latifi.
Martin and Alfa Romeo are kind of in a little fight.
Yeah, AlphaTauri and Haas are separated by 1 point. Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo are kind of in a little bubble, but then there's just a almost 100 point jump into P4 and P5.
So
So
this
it's
year,
like,
actually, there's quite a bit of competition going into the last couple races.
no, there is.
Yeah,
There's great competition between Mercedes and Ferrari. There's great competition between McLaren and Alpine. It's literally separated into, well, no, it's not. There's a clear winner, there's a clear loser, and everybody else is is paired up with with their rival.
yeah, yeah. Well, Ferrari's not with their rival; they're with their new rival now. But
Yeah,
yeah.
themselves.
Oh, oh. But yeah,
No, but I
Mexico
mean, yeah, we
GP.
got Brazil and yeah, we got Brazil and Abu Dhabi
We
next.
got a
That's
week
about
off,
it.
right? A week off in
Yeah,
Audi.
we got this week off, no racing this week. We have Brazil next week, and I think there's one more week off. Then it's Abu Dhabi, or if I'm not mistaken, it might go Brazil and then immediately into Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I think they go like back to back, which is crazy to see them travel literally on the other
Yeah,
side
I
of the
know.
globe.
From South America to what, like a 14-hour, like ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
that jet lag's gonna suck that first day going there.
At least I think they keep the race at night, so like it might not be
Oh no, yeah, Abu
too
Dhabi's a night race for sure.
big of a difference, but I don't know.
No, it might not be that big a deal. But
Yeah,
well, episode 43 in the books, Mexico GP. We're about to make it one full year of Lockup Podcast
one
and
full season, yeah.
one full season, bro. It's
And
been sick.
it's been a
We got
season.
it's been a season. We've got stuff planned. We're gonna work harder. But yeah, no, that was episode 43. I'm stoked that we're here and can't wait for the next race. Chris, adios, my guy.
Yep, see y'all. Adios, Mexico.